Coming up on Nicole's View. So, Andrew Gillum decided to do the sit down with Tamron Hall. He and his wife sat down with Miss Tamron Hall. And during this interview, of course, the moment I guess folks were waiting for was, is he going to basically admit what we already know? But, honestly, I really don't care what this man does in his bedroom or with whoever. That's, really not the point of this commentary. But there is something I want to focus on about this interview that is very striking. And it also shows you how there is really a lot of hypocrisy on the left. But let's go ahead and jump into it.
I've fallen for this mysterious black woman. Her alluring smile and intoxicating dark skin have set my frozen heart ablaze with burning desire. But I'm a counter-racist hitman. It's my sacred duty to spy on these crooked cops, waiting for the right moment to expose their secrets and end their reign of terror. Now, I'm in love with one of my targets, silently watching her. Gazing into her deep brown eyes, my heart pulses with uncertainty. Is this black woman one of them, or is she with us? How do I manage this love battle waging within my heart while delivering justice to the black community? Find out in War of the Heart, an Occam Jeffers novel, coming December 1st everywhere books are sold. Visit spiritOf1811publishing.com for details.
Hey guys, it's Nicole here, back on this Sunday afternoon. I hope you guys are all doing good out there, and welcome back to Nicole's View. Yes, welcome guys. Usually I would do a live stream either Saturday or Sunday, but this weekend has just been insane. So do forgive me. I do hope to do a live stream next weekend where we can catch up and I can possibly have some guests on. So just keep a lookout for that, guys. And let's talk about Andrew Gillum. Yes. I talked about Andrew back when this whole ordeal happened back in March. I did a podcast about it on Anchor, and I think I talked about it in a live stream afterwards. So I've already talked about Andrew and his episode of being found in this very embarrassing scandal, so to speak. We know these folks are human. These folks are just like you and I. They go through their ups and downs. They have their trials and tribulations. They are not immune from being caught up in some mess, okay? So it doesn't matter if they're celebrities, politicians. We've seen these type of stories. Nothing about it is new. But, I was watching this interview with Mr. Gillum and his wife here. And this interview, in my opinion, was very, very soft. And I don't say that as a way to say that he should have been attacked or, just put out on Front Street, although he already did that himself. But I just looked at this interview and I'm just like, this is just nothing but a softball interview. And Tamron Hall, I'm sure she's behind the scenes, linked up with the Democrats and these folks on the left, your liberal media and whatnot. And, I watched the segments on YouTube. And the first thing I noticed straight out the bat is how Gillum starts to talk about this whole entire episode, and he's blaming it squarely on alcohol. And even if you look at this interview, and he goes on to talk about basically his high of being almost nominated as the governor of Florida. And he's going on, and then he talks about how this not winning literally by the skin of his nose, he lost that race, and how his world came, crumbling down. Granted, I'm pretty sure anyone who was in his position that had these great aspirations to be the governor of a state, I can pretty much believe that, yes, he was crushed. I'm sure he went into this depression, so to speak, relied on alcohol and whatnot. And as he's talking about this, then he talks about his father. He talks about his father being an alcoholic and how good he was when he was sober, and just how he was just not good when he was drunk. And I said, okay, so you already see the setup. So basically, in my opinion, it felt like he was low-key throwing his own father under the bus. That didn't help. And, I can't say whether or not Gillum is maybe blaming it on the alcohol a little heavy, more so to save face, or if he is genuinely an alcoholic. He could be. But to me, I don't know. I don't know the man. I'm not in his household. But when I look at someone like Andrew Gillum, he doesn't necessarily look like an alcoholic. But okay, fine. Okay. And then as it went on, we got to the question. We got to the question that I guess folks were just waiting to hear about this incident, being found naked in a hotel room, laying in your own vomit. And this story just changes, because it went from there were like 2 or 3 men. And then in this interview, Gillum says it's only one man. It was only one man. And this one man overdosed. I'm like, okay, so what really happened? Because, and this is where Tamron Hall she didn't press at all, because reports were saying that there were between 2 to 3 men in this hotel room, and Gillum went to go meet with this friend, and it was just going to be a quick hello and stopping by. But this is where Tamron Hall dropped the ball, and oh, that rhymed. Tamron Hall dropped the ball, and she did not press that enough, because she should have went back and said, okay, so reports are saying that there were multiple men, blah, blah, blah. And Gillum is like, no, it was only one man. It was only one man. And she just kind of let that go. And I'm like, okay, see, this is where I would have been like, okay, so if it was only one man, you were knocked out drunk. This man apparently overdosed. So did you get drunk and then he took the photo of you naked and then overdosed? Something just, that right there, I'm just like, okay, something ain't right. Okay. Something is not right with the story. And when it's not right, I feel like it's a lie. Okay. Now, that's not to say that didn't happen. Maybe Gillum got pissy drunk and the guy, took pictures of him naked. Okay, fine. and my thing is, Gillum is saying nothing happened, but those pictures say otherwise. Okay, they just do. And I don't mean to be graphic here and go into what was all there, but for those of you who saw the photos, it didn't look like just vomit. I'm just going to say that. Okay, let's just be real. Let's just be real. Because Gillum kept saying that he only drank and that was it. Nothing else happened. Nothing else happened. Nothing else happened. But I'm just like, okay, something happened. And why are you nude? If you only drank, why are you nude? Did you get yourself undressed? How did this happen? And that's what Tamron Hall didn't do. Okay. This is supposed to be a woman who is a journalist, who goes there, and this was a very softball interview, okay? And then he goes on, and he's just like, I don't know what happened. All I knew is, I'm drunk, and then I'm naked, and I'm just like, okay. So let's say this one guy that was in the room with you, okay, let's say you were just drinking, you were in your clothes, originally hanging out. And you wake up vomiting and naked. So what's going on here? And I'm going to play devil's advocate for Andrew. Okay, so this happened. You're saying nothing happened, but you don't know how you ended up naked on a hotel room floor. Do you know what happened to you? Did you consent? And this is what another thing that Tamron Hall didn't press. And he literally said it, I just don't know what happened. I drink some and then I'm just black out and I'm naked and there's no, I'm sorry. And his own wife, Gillum's wife, even hinted at it. She was like, well, I just feel like this was so wrong, the way this was just carried out and he was pictured and it was just, spread all over the world, all over social media. And if this was a woman, people would be outraged. It would be an outrage. And she's right. She's absolutely right. And I say this, okay? Why isn't this a bigger outrage than what they're claiming it to be, okay? So which one is it? Did Gillum did not consent to being found in that position? Was he drugged? What is it? Okay, and this is where we're supposed to be in the whole Me Too era, which hopefully I feel like it's dead, but we're supposed to be in this whole new way of thinking that, people shouldn't be taken advantage of and drugged and all this kind of craziness. But Gillum left that wide open, and so did Tamron Hall. She should have went back and really dug into that. Because then this is where you really see if Gillum is telling the truth. Okay, Gillum, if this happened, why didn't you, if you didn't consent to this, is what I'm basically saying. If you didn't consent to being found in this position, then isn't this something else? And this is why I don't believe Gillum in this interview. I don't believe him at all. I don't believe that he just went to this room, got drunk, and didn't know what happened. I don't buy that. I really don't. Because if it were that, he would have been trying to press charges. It would have been something totally different. And then that makes me wonder, okay, so since the left is all about, respecting people's bodies and Me Too, time's up and all this kind of crap and sexual misconduct, drugging, and all this kind of stuff, okay, so we need to be talking about that, right? But is it because Gillum was caught in a room full of men, white men at that? Is that why it's not going to go that way? Is it because now Gillum is claiming to be LGBT, bisexual? Is it now not okay to talk about that? The reason him being caught like this in this position? Now we can't talk about consent and this and that. I mean, Gillum left that wide open. And I'm saying nobody's talking about this. I'm noticing nobody is talking about this. And Gillum mentioned it, and his wife mentioned it. And I'm like, wow, interesting. So like I said, to me, I do not feel he was telling the full truth. And that's fine. That's up to him. Like I said, at the end of the day, I really don't care to be in these folks' business like this. But since Gillum is a public figure, okay, I do YouTube commentaries about the latest news and whatnot. I want to talk about it. And I have to talk about it, basically. And I still have to give my view on it. And when I look at it, I'm just like, yeah, Gillum is not telling the full story. His wife, I guess her name is RJ or something like that. I think she knew from jump that this is how Gillum got down. And I think she's totally fine with that. And that's her prerogative. If she wants to be with Gillum, that's her thing. I mean, these folks have kids together. So it's a totally different dynamic. And you're talking about marriage and kids. I get that. So that's not up to me, you or I, to, tell her what to do, because at the end of the day, she's going to do what she want to do anyway. But I I am not buying this interview. I know they're trying to, I guess, clean themselves up from this, maybe make a clean slate. And there are folks on the left saying, if he just stays the course, just, be transparent, he could possibly continue to have a career in politics. And that's true. And I will say that even more so, being the fact that he is announcing himself as bisexual, I think he has a better chance than, let's say, a John Edwards. And you all know about John Edwards. You guys remember he was the former senator who basically cheated on his wife while she was in the last stages of cancer, I believe, and she ended up passing away. And apparently Edwards had an affair with this photographer, and they had a baby and all that. And his career basically died after that. So I think with Gillum being bisexual, he'll probably have a better chance than an Edwards would, because now we're living in a different age now where we can accept this. It's okay to accept it, and you really won't be pressured or condemned to hell. Now, there are going to be some people who will not support Gillum, period, because this may not be what they believe in. This may not be what they would support. They feel he's not trustworthy. For me, that's more than anything that, it's bad enough we can't trust politicians, period, regardless of what they claim to be, gay, straight, bi, whatever. It's already bad enough on that front. But then when you're caught in a position like this, wide open, I'm sorry, but when you're caught like this, it doesn't make it any better. It makes it even worse. And the fact that I'm looking at this interview, and to me, he's still not being forthcoming whatsoever. He's kind of letting the public know what they need to know. And that's fine. That's his prerogative. But I'm saying that I don't believe him whatsoever. I don't believe his wife whatsoever. But like I said, that's their business. Do them. But this interview could have been so much more better. But unfortunately, it is coming from a mainstream left-leaning establishment. So you're not going to get a hard-hitting, fair assessment of a story like this. Not coming from a Tamron Hall. You're not going to get it. They are rooting for him. And even towards the end of this interview, Tamron Hall, even low-key, talks about, has guests on talking about, being accepted in the Black community, the whole down low thing. And you're just like, okay, who is this really about? Is it about throwing it back on the Black community? Because you cannot do that. This is what Gillum did. Okay. This is what he did. I get it. But you also have to look at the bigger picture. Okay. Who created this atmosphere for folks to feel fearful? Black folks make up 13% of the population. Who originally created this fear for folks to be scared, to not want to come out and be themselves? It's easy to blame us, but that's not really the core of the problem. And, I just feel like this whole thing was just one big waste of time. Folks are going to support Gillum, his family. Regardless, there are going to be some people who are like, I just cannot trust the guy. I was even skimming through some of the comments on YouTube, and there were some people saying, yeah, we're just not buying this. So I don't know how much, if he will have any success in being a politician in the future, maybe getting in Congress. There's a possibility. Anything is possible. But there are some folks that are just like, I just don't know if I can trust this guy. He just seems not very forthcoming. It seems scripted in what he wanted folks to know. It did not seem sincere. And in my opinion, I'm not saying this is what it is, but in my opinion, I do not think that Gillum is bisexual. I believe he is gay. That's his choice. Fine. But I think the only reason why that he's trying his best, of course, to hold this together is he wants to keep a career in politics. One, he has a family, kids, too. And that's what most folks want to see. They want to see a family unit. That's what they want to see, regardless of what you may claim to be. And when you're not forthcoming, it just makes it all the worse. So, yeah, yeah, those are my thoughts on it. I felt like this could have been better, but in my opinion, I feel like it was set up on the inside, i.e., the Democrats. I don't feel it was sincere whatsoever. It just felt like a big puff piece to me. But yeah, those are my thoughts. I hope that made sense. Sometimes you do these commentaries and you're just like, okay, how can I put this for people to understand? But I feel for the most part, you guys should get the gist of what I am saying. But yeah, I don't like the hypocrisy in this. I don't like how we know if the roles were reversed, if Gillum were, let's say, a woman, he will be getting tons of support. And also, I don't like the fact that he is bisexual, gay, whatever, and the fact that they left open this this wide area that was not covered, because you literally have Gillum up here saying that he didn't consent to being in this position. He said it without saying it, basically, is what I'm saying. And then that opens the door to, okay, well, what is this then? Is this, were you raped? Were you, and then he's saying nothing happened. It's just too much wide openness. It's not forthcoming. It doesn't make sense. And this is why I don't believe it. Period. End of discussion. But anyway, we'll see where this goes. We'll see where Andrew goes. If he takes off and does great in politics, lucky for him, because some folks don't come back from this. Just ask John Edwards. Anyway, guys, let me know what you think. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Don't forget to hit that notification bell so you can get all notifications on all of my videos and our live streams. And I will see you guys in the next live stream and our podcast. Take care.